Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be profiling a deck profile of a deck that I have thoroughly enjoyed playing over the course of the last couple of weeks. And it took me a while to build this deck because I wanted to make sure I had my rulings down correctly, the ratios down as best I could, and have a properly way to profile this deck, because from what I've seen, there's not a lot of deck profiles out there of this deck. And there's a load of variations of ratios and everything, of card ratios that is, for this deck, and different cards that people run. So I wanted to properly playtest before I profiled you a deck profile. So this is what's been working for me. And so without further ado, let us get into the deck profile. So first off, we run our brand new Demise Supreme King of Armageddon. So you pay 2,000 life points, you nuke the board. You pretty much blow up the board, you destroy the world. If you used a ritual monster to ritual summon him, so another Demise or a Ruin, the level 10 one, you can pretty much don't have to pay the life points and you could just blow up the board for free. Yay! He can't be destroyed by battle, which is somewhat important because it's a 3,000 beater, so that's kind of nice. Ritual monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle, so that does come into play. I'm so happy. Next up, we have our 3 Ruin Supreme Queen of Oblivion. She makes ritual monsters be unable to be destroyed by card effects, which is kind of nice. She can attack twice as well. Has the same cost. If you used a ritual monster, you can attack twice. So really, really good cards. I'm so happy. I know people hated these being in the OTS pack, but I was so happy for these to be in the OTS pack because I was like, okay, when this Cybernetic Horizon first came out, I was hoping they would be supers. They weren't. They were rares. And when the OTS pack came out, I was like, yay, they're supers. I'm kind of happy about that, even though nobody else is. So, yeah, very nice to have. So thank you to all my friends who gave me these supers from their OTS packs. Thank you. So I could hollow this deck out a little bit more for you guys, because I really enjoy this deck, and I love the artwork of these cards. So, yes. Now let's get into the other cards. We run 3 of the OG Demise. Now, I was actually, if you guys didn't know, I used to play Demise way back in the day with Advanced Ritual Art, the Insect Engine, Doom Dozer combo OTK deck with, oh, that was so long ago. But this is the original one that I've had since I was a kid. Back then, I wasn't a kid, I was a teenager. But this is the first ed one. The other 2 I picked up ages ago. And luckily I got them before they went up in price, because they started going up in price a couple years ago because people wanted to go back and play the OG Armageddon stuff, and then when the new stuff came out, it just rose in price exponentially. So thank gosh I picked them up, but I have my original supers, so I am very, very happy about that. So yes, we have 3 of these guys. Now this guy is not once per turn. You pay 2,000 life points, blow up the board. Very good card to have. And you don't run the old Ruin card. It's not as good as the new Ruin. You could run it, but the OG Demise, you 100% run. The Ruin you could run as a 1-up if you really wanted to. But yeah, that's the ratio that I run. Now we go to the Chibi forms. 1 Demise, Agent of Armageddon, and 1 Ruin, Agent of Oblivion. Now I've seen different ratios of these cards. I've seen people not run them. I've seen people run 2 of the Chibi Demise and none of the Ruin. I've seen people run 2 of the Agent, the baby Demise, and 1 of the Ruin. I've seen so many different ratios of this card, and if you want to run a different ratio, be my guest. But for my play testing in my plays, I find that 1 of each is fine. 1 of each is fine. You could run 2 of him and none of her, or you could run, it just depends upon what you're trying to do with the deck. But for my playtesting, this is the ratio that I like, but there's different ways you could play these guys here. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Next, we run 3 Manju of 10,000 hands. This is staple in this deck. The important thing to know about this deck, the 2 important things to know about this deck actually, is number 1, the deck wants to go second. When you're playing this deck, you want to go second because you want to be able to blow up the board and push for a lot of damage very quickly. That is what this deck does. It's an OTK type of deck or an FTK type of deck, but it wants to blow up the board and push for a lot of damage quickly. That's what it wants to do. Number 2, you don't rely upon the normal summon that much. That's why Manju is fine in the deck, because you're pretty much special summoning the incantation monsters which is awesome. And then you're special summoning your ritual monsters. So you don't need to normal summon that much. So that's why it's okay to run normal summons in the deck. So that's why we run 3 Manju and 3 Sanju of 10,000 hands. Now Manju searches out your monster and your ritual, and Sanju just searches out your spell cards. That is fine. I've seen people run Sonic Bird, and I tried that for a day, mind you, and I just said no, I don't want Sonic Bird, because I was getting weird hands where like double Manju or Manju Senju and Sonic Bird, and it was kind of like, well, you know, I want to summon the Manju first, and then I want to use the Sanju second, and the Sonic Bird's just a dead card in my hand by the time I get around to it. So I decided to cut Sonic Bird out just completely, because it just, there was better cards I would want to run in the deck. So you could run Sonic Bird, but you don't need to, guys. It's 2018. You have the incantations, you have pre-prep, you have Manju, you have Sanju. You got enough. You don't need Sonic Bird on top of it and waste a normal summon on that. So I'm just going to say that there. I found it to be unnecessary. So those are the normal monsters that you run in the deck to your normal summonable monsters. Next we run the incantations. One of them searches the monster. So you reveal the ritual monster, and then you special summon it. And the other one, if you guys don't know, you reveal a ritual spell, and then you special summon that out, and then you special summon the other one, and then you get to search for the ritual monster. So it helps out a lot, especially in this deck. It's because of the rituals, the different ritual monster spells you run. That's awesome. The different ritual monsters you run. This card is usually always live. So it's a very good card to have and very essential. Now, there are 2 other incantation cards coming out in the next set. I think it's the end of October, early November. The Book and the Quill, I think it is. And you can run those in the deck, and that's fine. But you could probably run 1 of each. It's up to you. I've tested them online a little bit. They're good as a 1 of, but you don't want to run too many incantations because it can kind of get kind of bricky to some extent, mind you. But yeah, they're still good cards to run in the deck. But yes, these 2 are the main important ones because together out on the field they equal level 10, which means I can bring out my Demise and my big girl Ruin for free on the field by using one of the ritual spells. So that's important. So they can be used for tributes for that. So yeah, that's the incantations we run. And let's get to the next part of the deck. So last monster we run is 2 BLS. Now the reason we run BLS is because we have a slew of light monsters, a lot of light monsters if you just look closely at the deck, and a lot of dark monsters we run. So like one of the incantations is dark, one of the incantations is light. So if you use one of the incantations to bring out cards, what you can do is you can bring them out, and then you could be like, okay, blow up the board by paying your life points or whatever the case may be for your Demise. Blow up the board, special summon the BLS now because I have the light and dark engraved, bring out BLS, and now I'm going to swing for 6,000 damage, and sometimes that can be game. So yeah, this is really, really good in that aspect. BLS is just another boss monster to run in the deck because he can be spot removal, he can just do so many things for you, and he's so easy to bring out. You could run 3 BLS if you wanted to, but from playtesting I found that 2 was okay. 3 got a little bit cloggy. You wanted to see him sometimes, but not all the time, you know. But he's just a really good card to have in the deck and is by far a staple in this deck, hands down. Super, super good to have. And I found, somebody pointed this out to me, it was kind of funny, I found, that you pretty much have the cycle of the world just literally in this little lineup here, because you have Demise, you have Chaos, the Envoy, the beginning of time, and then the Demise and the Ruin of the end of the world. So that's kind of interesting, you know, like it's kind of like the story of the beginning and the end all in one deck. So that's kind of what one of my friends pointed that out to me, and I thought that was kind of interesting to think of it in that context. So let's continue on here. So next up we got 3 Cycle of the World and 3 End of the World. These are your ritual spells you run in the deck. Depending upon the situation, sometimes you're going to want End of the World. Sometimes you're going to want Cycle of the World. Cycle of the World is really good because it helps you with cycle cards from your graveyard and get things out from your deck the turn after you use it for a ritual summon. I find myself a lot of the times going for Cycle. I find myself sometimes going for End. So it just depends upon the situation. I find that it's very good. So let us continue onwards here. So let's talk about the next card in the deck, which is essential, and that's pre-preparation of rights. So pre-prep in the deck works amazingly well. So let me show you what you can search out. If you have End of the World, you can search out the Old Ruin card, or you can search out the Old Demise. So if you want to search out End of the World or Old Demise, you search out these two targets. If you want to search out Cycle of the World, you're going to be able to search out either this or this because it's properly said in its card text. So if you want to search End, you search this. If you want to search Cycle, you can have these targets. So those are the targets you can search off pre-prep. Pre-prep is really amazing in this deck. I had to confirm with my friend if that was the proper way to search, and my judge friend ruled that that's the proper way. So that's what I was told. Next card we run in the deck, guys, is we run 3 Turning of the World. Now this is a card that, how can I say this? At first I wasn't running it, then I played around with it, and now I'm running it. It's a very good card to have, and I do apologize about the light coming in right now, but it's a very good card to have to bring out the old OG Demise card to blow up the board, especially if you have that old OG card in your hand. The fact that you have to use a ritual monster in your hand to bring it out does suck, but it's a card that I would definitely suggest running as a 2 of or 3 of in your deck. Very, very good card and very helpful. So 3 Turn of the World, very useful in the deck. The last cards we run 2 Call by the Grave, which is recently at 2 of because of the ban list. You want to run this because Ash can really hurt you in this deck because you search and deck and draw so much. You don't want to get hit by an Ash, which can sometimes cripple you. Especially a Drill and Lock can really cripple you as well. So Call by the Grave helps stop that. So that's why we run Call by the Grave, as well as we run 1 Upstart Goblin to make it a 39 card deck, which is very nice to have. Now, even though we don't go into the extra deck that much, if at all, I still run an extra deck, I wanted to say before I get to it, just because of situations where you may come up where you have Manju and Senju, or Manju coming up on the field, and you're like, well, maybe I can go for a rank 4 this turn. So let's get into that. So we got my Field Center and my Lucamine token I always keep. So let's get into this now. So for your Exceed packages, we run the Utopia package just because. We run the number 27 Dreadnought with the Supreme Quantum Mech Grand Magnus, just in case. And for your rank 4s we run number 70, 101. 101 is really good in this deck because it can protect itself from being destroyed, which is nice. Tornado Dragon, Bagasucha, Castel, Exoton Knight, which just came off the ban list. Then we also run some targets for Ghost Reaper, and Winter Cherries, which I'll talk about here in a second. So for those targets, we run Spiral Double Helix, Heavy Electromite, Kagari, and ABC Buster. Now, I know ABCs and Pendulums have been hit, but I'm just trying to show you as an example here. Because you do have extra deck space to run Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. So if you wanted to run in your extra deck cards to stop a certain archetype or deck with Winter Cherries, you can do that. Because you have the... You can play around with the ratios in the deck of how many you want to run, but you can side deck this card in and out to stop certain decks out there, is what I'm trying to say. So you have extra deck space to do that. So you have space that you can commit to that. So that's important to know, because really you're not going to go into the extra deck that much, and the rank 4s are just there because, hey, they're rank 4s and I can make them, you know? So that's why they're there. So without further ado, I hope you guys all enjoyed this deck profile. I thoroughly enjoyed profiling it. I do apologize, I'm very tired at the moment of me making this video because the ban list just came out. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.